Hi Community of Awesome, I'm Ava J and this is Bookish Pixie. So, NaNoWriMo starts this weekend. Yeah, well I'm probably not going to do NaNoWriMo this year only because I'm buried under a mountain of revisions. If you are not buried under a mountain of revisions and you're thinking about doing it, seriously, just go for it. Many of you are probably already prepping and getting psyched for the big event, so I'm going to share with you my top 5 NaNoWriMo tips. 1. Make a plan. Now I know many of you who are pantsers are probably immediately thinking, nope, not gonna do it, but just hear me out for a second. When I say make a plan, I don't necessarily mean you need to make a detailed outline. What making a plan or prepping might mean to you will totally depend on your style. If you're a complete 100% pantser, maybe prepping just means knowing the basic premise for your story. I often find that it is really helpful before I start writing a draft to actually write the one-sentence pitch before I've written a word. That way, while I'm writing, I can continue to look back at that pitch and keep myself focused and make sure that I'm keeping to the point of the story. And that still leaves you really open for pantsing if that's what you want to do. If you're a hybrid writer, you might do something in between. Not quite a full detailed outline, but maybe some landmarks for you to reach in between while you're writing. This can be a really good way to make sure that you keep on track while you're speeding through your fast draft, which is exactly what you need to do during NaNoWriMo. Finally, if you are a planner, then you better get started on that outline if you haven't yet. I find that when I'm fast drafting, the easiest way for me to get through without getting stuck is to have everything planned out in the beginning. That doesn't mean that I necessarily stick to my outline. I tend to think of my outlines more as guides than a rule book. But it does mean that while I'm writing, I have an idea of where the story is supposed to go. And if my characters decide to take it another way, that's fine, but I still have a basic plan set in place. So plans are helpful while you're fast drafting. 2, make friends. The really awesome thing about NaNoWriMo is people around the world are doing the same thing you're doing. They're trying to write 50,000 words in 30 days. The NaNoWriMo community I found is so fun and exciting and motivating to be around. Last year when I finished NaNoWriMo crazy fast, it was mostly because someone in the community was like, hey, don't be lazy, why don't you push yourself? And I was like, you know what? You're right, awesome person. And I ended up finishing faster than I thought I would. But without the community, that probably wouldn't have happened. Not only is the NaNoWriMo community super helpful and motivational, but it just kind of makes the whole thing more fun. And as an especially nice bonus, usually NaNoWriMo friends stick around for after NaNoWriMo too. And not necessarily just on the site, but you can connect with them on other social media sites. So make sure while you're doing NaNoWriMo to take the opportunity to get to know some other writers. 3, write every day. Now when I say write every day, I don't necessarily mean that you need to write 2,000 words every day. What you technically need to finish your 50,000 words in 30 days is 1,667 words a day. Realistically, you will probably have some days where you go beyond that and some days where you go under that, and that is totally okay. I find, however, that the easiest way to keep motivated during NaNoWriMo is to write even just a little bit every day. I totally get being busy. Some days you can only get 50 words in, and you know what? That's still 50 words you didn't have yesterday, and it's 50 less words you have to write tomorrow. So while you're doing NaNoWriMo and speeding through the month, I highly recommend you try to take even 5 minutes a day to write, even on those super busy days. Not only will it help you feel a little better because you still got something done even while you were being really busy, but it also helps keep the momentum. 4, don't edit. I usually advise against editing while first drafting to begin with, but while you're doing NaNoWriMo, it's especially important that you do not look back for any reason. I mean, seriously, think like Sodom and Gomorrah. You will turn into a pillar of salt if you look back. The reason this is so important is because you are fast drafting right now. What this means is many times the writing that you put down is not going to be your best writing. But you know what? This is the first draft, and it doesn't matter. While you are fast drafting, whether it's during NaNoWriMo or any other time of the year, you are allowed to suck. Last year when I did NaNoWriMo, I told where I should have showed, I skipped over scenes, and I put blanks when I didn't feel like naming characters. I'm pretty sure I even had a blank that said something to the effect of character who died, name here. Point is, NaNoWriMo first drafts are not going to be your most shining, beautiful first drafts, but they're not supposed to be. The problem with editing and looking back while you're NaNoWriMo first drafting is A, it's going to slow you down, and B, it's might mess your motivation up a little bit. Sometimes it can be a little less than motivating to look back in the middle of a first draft and realize this kinda sucks. Don't worry about your first draft being bad. Do not even think about editing right now. The important thing is for you to get to those 50,000 words or the end of the manuscript or whatever your nano goal is. Finally, 5, have fun. Yes, I know, the super cliche, everyone always says have fun, but really, this should be fun. I mean, yes, some days it's going to suck and you're going to hate yourself for participating, but it can actually overall be a really fun experience with a nice bonus of a shiny manuscript at the end. Don't worry about editing. Don't worry about how badly you're writing right now. Don't worry about how much work you're going to have when you finish your manuscript. Just have fun, get to know other writers, and write. So that's all I've got for today. If you're participating in NaNoWriMo, good luck. And if you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and comment, and I'll see you guys next week.